Hello and welcome to an all-new episode of Anime Brain Freeze. We are your hosts, slow on content.
I am John.
And I'm CC, and when there's just too much cool anime to watch, we've got you covered. So yeah, unusual intro this time, because we don't have an actual review of a show we both watched lined up here, which is what we usually open with every new season. And in general, I think I have like one finished season of a series to review, and John has a couple of quick and dead bits, and we're gonna keep all of that for probably the only other episode this season. So today, it's gonna be the sneak peek, and we're gonna launch right into that. So, for first-time listeners, of course, the sneak peek is our little preview of the season that is airing right now, and we watched like the first couple of episodes of shows that looked interesting to us, and we have decided on our nopes, our maybes, and our keepers. The nopes, of course, the shows that we don't want to keep watching, the maybes shows that we might keep watching, and the keepers, the shows that we're definitely gonna keep watching. And I think, John, we don't have any nopes.
Not this time, no.
Yeah, we have a couple of hidden keepers, as in shows that we will definitely keep on watching, but we're not going to talk about here in detail, which is the second core of the second season of Ancient Megasprite and the second core of the third season of Dr. Stone. Those just continue the seasons that we brought up in a previous sneak peek, so that's fine. And we haven't done any reviews for those yet, so we're also not going to talk about that, not taking anything away. But aside from that, let's launch into our proper first maybe. John, why don't you take it away?
My first one is Overtake.
Right! That's also one of my maybes.
Yeah, so this is a story all about a freelance photographer named Koya Madoka, and he's kind of in a slump. He's not quite sure what he wants to do, but gets this job, or he gets asked to do some photography work at the Fuji International Speedway, and he starts to learn about F4 racing. And one of his friends or one of his acquaintances who has a team there, and it's like big, and it's it's a huge fleet of cars, and it's like wild. But then he comes across this smaller team called Komaki Motors. They've got just one driver. They just got one car, and
plain white one.
Yes,
because they don't have any sponsors yet.
Yeah, that's real.
Mm-hmm.
And he just becomes so enamored with Haruka. Their driver's name is Haruka Asahina. He becomes enamored with Haruka's driving, and he wants to support them and do what he can for them. And running a racing team is not cheap, my guy.
No, that's the first thing we learn. It's like, yeah, motorsport racing is very expensive, even if you don't go to the F1 stuff that is, like, where the big bucks are, I guess, and the biggest driver. But even F4, holy shit, you need some serious buck power there.
Yeah, they talk about on the low end, things could cost about 11 million yen, which is roughly $74,000 US. So
a year.
Yes, a year.
Yeah, not just permanently.
Yes.
And that is probably without accidents and anything. So
without taking anything else into account. Just the tires themselves were like a few $1,000s.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, this is looking fun. Like, I mean, it's been a while since the last racing anime I watched, and I guess the other big contender would be the future version of Initial D that is airing this season. But like, I was super interested in that because I've missed like the last couple of seasons of Initial D, and I don't even know if they still do the cool Eurobeat soundtrack. So whatever. It's like, these character designs are hideous anyway.
I feel like they gotta still have the Eurobeat, right?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is going for something else. This is set a little more future and everything. But yeah, I didn't watch it. I watched this one as well, Overtake. And I think I've never seen one with like formula cars before, like these open racing cars. And that's pretty neat. And yeah, just the setup of this is very cozy. Like, Komaki Motorsports team, like they're like the small family of a father and his son who are both working in this, and they kind of adopted their driver, like Haru, who lost both his parents. And it's like, yeah, like I said, it's very cozy. It's like when in the first two episodes, when Koya tries to, first become a sponsor themselves for their himself.
And he has his rude awakening.
Yeah, it doesn't work out. And then, he tries to acquire some bigger company sponsors. That also doesn't work out because they're not that interested into Haru's racing style, or he isn't successful enough for their taste. And then he goes around around local stores and tries to get ad support from them, so he can put their company name on the car as well, and they give them a little ad fee and stuff like that. So that also doesn't necessarily work out immediately, but it has also this cute scene where they get a raceman sticker from a kid. Like I said, it has this nice feel and underdog feel to it, which the best sports anime do. All the good sports anime are underdog stories. So this definitely has that, and I get the feeling that over time, this little team is going to become the local team and is going to be cheered on by all the people that we met in the second episode from the little stores and everything that kind of come to the races and stuff like that. You also see in Haikyuu, and I think they're going to do that. We'll see, but that would be hey, let's go against the bigger corporations who have the big money, but we have the spirit and the team support from our local town and shit like that. So I can see it play out like that, and yeah, it looks good. It's done by Troika, so yeah, it's a fun show so far. Doesn't go too heavy on the exposition, although there's a lot to learn about the world of racing and a lot of special vernacular and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I used to work with someone who did. I think he actually did F4. I think that was the class he did. So
cool.
Seeing this is this is kind of what he did. That's pretty cool.
I mean, F1 racing is pretty big here in Germany, so I soaked that up as a kid. Was pretty boring to me because it's they're only driving a circle and stuff. So I was never the biggest racing fan. In anime, it's a different story, all right? But and in movies. But just watching the races and everything, it was never that, the whole tactical aspect is important and stuff like that. And that is not too big interesting as a kid. But, you still notice that is a big sports thing over here. I don't know if it's still as big, but it gets mentioned rather regularly here, so especially Formula One. So yeah, this is interesting to see anime cover this kind of stuff. And like I said, I haven't seen them do this kind of. I mean, F4 is the smaller league, right? But it's still interesting to see. And like I said, it has a smaller, more cozy family feeling to it. And who knows? Depending on how far that story is willing to go, maybe they're gonna go up to F1 at some point. I doubt it, because this seems more like a promotional anime for F4 racing. So
yeah,
but yeah, that's it's fine in that regard. It's fine. It's fun. I liked what I saw in the first 2 episodes. It's still a maybe, but it could be good. Yeah, going from one promotional anime to another.
Oh,
Firefighter Daigo, Rescuer in Orange would be my maybe next after Overtake. And as the name implies, this is about a squad of rookie firefighters. Mostly our main characters, Shun, Yuki, and the titular Daigo, who are going through their training to become part of the elite firefighting force of Tokyo. So yeah, this is basically just a commercial for the Tokyo Fire Department. Dripping with all the pathos you'd expect, but whatever, right? This is not a profession that gets highlighted often in anime, I feel like. So I'm interested to see what they do with it. And it's also not like they're skipping over how hard the training is, like just glorifying it and everything. Quite the contrary. Also, it's about rivalry, friendship, heroism, all the good stuff. And it's nice to see a real profession covered where people do genuinely heroic work. So I'm willing to take at least a couple of more peeks before I decide if this is a story I want to see to its completion. In the first couple of episodes, we learned a lot of firefighting and rescue basics, like communicating with a rope and how to properly search for survivors, how to move in a burning building and everything. And that's very interesting. I've, didn't know anything about that. I don't know how accurate any of this is, as usual, but it seems close enough. And yeah, that's interesting. The characters are somewhat interesting. I haven't learned too much about them yet. At first, there's like this big rivalry between our main characters, Daigo and Shun, and Yuki, who is the only woman on the squad, I think, she also has kind of like this hidden rivalry with Shun. So that's pretty interesting, and we'll see if we get a bit more background on them in the future. Could be interesting. The only downside of this, and that's why it's still a maybe for me, is the animation, because it's pretty basic. It's not bad. It's all right. It's okay, but it feels like that can be attributed to the story. Just the story in general feels meticulous and very methodical. Like, because of how the characters have to act during the training exercises, the show has a very slow and methodical pace and feel to it, which might not be for everyone. You might say the show is a slow burn. Get out. But yeah, so that's kind of the thing, and the animation is kind of attuned to that. So it's focusing on, often you don't see the characters' faces because they're hidden under the helmets and everything, and there's a lot of slow moving in the burning building because they have to be very careful and everything. So it is not a fast-paced show. Might change down the road, who knows? And these situations already in the training exercise, the situations are tense enough that it's kind of exciting, but it's definitely a slower show than you're used to in a lot of anime. So it's like, okay, we'll see where this goes. And like I said, the animation is pretty basic. Offhand, I don't even know which studio is doing it, but it's all right. The characters look good, and the story seems to be exciting enough. But for now, it's still a maybe. Might become a keeper pretty quickly, but depending on how the future missions play out and if there is enough character development, that would be the thing I'm hinging on, whether I'm going to keep watching this or not. John, what is your next maybe?
It's the Idolmaster Million Live.
I'm not surprised.
It should be a keeper, but it's one of those shows, the kind, where the main characters are CG, and it's not very good CG.
Oh no, that's a shame.
So, for those of you who don't know, Million Live is based off of the second mobile game. And because it surely lives up to its name, because there are almost 1 million characters in it.
Good lord. Get that gotcha!
Yeah. Well, it's funny, because Cinderella Girls and here's your video game history lesson. Cinderella Girls and Million Lives started as browser games that were both developed by Cygames. And then after that, they both had their own rhythm game adaptations. And at this point, the second version of each game has kind of supplanted the original. So Now we're just rhythm games all day long, which that's fine, that's cool. But I really am a little sad to see the presentation of the show being what it is, because they made such a big deal out of it for such a long time that it was in the works. And I watched the first episode last week, and oh god, dude, it's rough.
I thought Idolmaster was spared from the CG curse up to this point. Am I mistaken?
Up to this point.
Okay. That's a shame.
Because this Cinderella Girls series that aired, I forget what year it was. It was a few years ago. That was all hand-drawn and was gorgeous. And, I don't have as much of an attachment to any of the Cinderella Girls as I do the OG. So when I say my bar is the 2011 series, that is unfortunately a very high bar to beat, and this does not do it.
Okay.
So, maybe I'll check out a couple more episodes. I don't think the quality is going to get any better, so it's probably going to end up being a drop, but
I'm sorry to hear that. I'm pretty sure you were looking forward to the show.
I was. Here's the thing about the Idolmaster. It doesn't have enough international market share. That went to Love Live. Love Live has gotten the international marketing because Sunrise knows what they're doing. Sunrise and Bushiroad have promoted all of their games, all of the anime, this, that, the other thing. Meanwhile, Bandai Namco is sitting over here in their golden throne like, oh, we don't need to market it to those idiot gaijin. Cool, thanks. Thanks, dudes.
Marketing strategies.
Did you know you can buy the latest Idolmaster game on Steam if you're in Japan?
It's 2 times in a row that we have brought Bamco up in a negative aspect.
Here's the thing. I think Bandai Namco has a lot of great intellectual property, and they've done a lot of really cool stuff. But they've also done a lot of really boneheaded stuff, and that's not exclusive to Bandai Namco.
Yeah,
But
course.
it's like, please, guys, come on.
Don't waste the potential.
Yes. Maybe I brought this up before, but there was a rhythm game they released on the PSP, and then they ported it to iOS. And the iOS version cost like $70, and they wondered why it didn't sell.
Good lord.
And they never localized another Idol Master game after that. It's like, you guys are idiots.
It's like these weird, lofty ideas about what a certain game needs to make. I feel like Square Enix is subject to that kind of idiocy as well, often enough, or have proven to be that in the past, especially when it comes to the Western franchises they own. So I don't know what's going on with some of those guys in the deciding position there. It's weird.
Like I guess I'll be realistic and say I don't know how much an idol raising simulator, I guess that's the best way to describe it, would sell in territories outside of Asia and Southeast Asia. But you gotta take a gamble sometimes.
Yeah, and a sensible one, right? Like,
yeah,
offering a mobile game for $70 is not a gamble. That's idiocy.
It's just, that was a stripped. That wasn't the Idol Master experience. That was, again, another rhythm game. So it wasn't like you're getting it. And by Third Vision has been a thing now, and you could have localized shiny colors when it launched, but you decided not to because who cares? The fans did a translation for you. You can play a fan translation of a live service game. Just go do it. I do like the Idol Master, and I would like to see more of it. That is the takeaway from what I'm saying.
But not in this particular...
I would like to see it done properly.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, the Million Live Girls were in one of the movies, and that movie wasn't CG, and it was, it was done by the good team, and it looked great. And this is what we get. And it wasn't even certain that the show was licensed at first. I was like, bro, are you serious? It's a mess. It's a mess, and I wish it wasn't. Let's move on.
All right.
I don't want to be complaining about everything today.
I mean, mess is a good segue. You don't know what's coming next.
I guess I don't.
So next on my plate is Under Ninja. Modern day ninja are among us. John, did you know?
Gasp.
They hide in plain sight, and sometimes they are just lazy shut-ins. Did you know that? Sometimes they're just neats, like our main character Kuro, a 17-year-old who looks like he's in his late 30s.
Go on.
When he's not on a mission, he's just shooting blow darts at his ceiling. Or when a mission needs him to enroll in a high school, he gets his drunk neighbor to pose as his mom on the phone, because as he puts it, that is a convincing backstory. So this is...
What?
This is from the author who wrote Ressentiment. And if you know that manga, you know what Under Ninja will probably focus on, because the mangaka knows his way around writing middle-aged losers. And the show immediately pokes fun, nay jabs daggers, at the classic pop culture image of ninjas in Japan and around the world. The style of humor is all over the place. Like, there are some great satirical bits. One involves General MacArthur. There's also lowbrow toilet humor, like Kuro shooting a blow dart at a beer can with his fart. So yeah, it's what we got. It's a dirty, partially intentionally ugly show, and really weird. And I'm pretty sure it will showcase a serious bite down the road. Don't know if that will keep me engaged all the way to the end, but it might, so it's a maybe for now, but I also might quickly drop it because the humor is not for me in the long run. So far, like the whole setup is just so ludicrous and in parts really dumb and funny. The second episode, there's this Russian assassin who is going to Japan because he really wants to become a ninja because they're the best assassins in the world, obviously.
Oh, God.
And he he doesn't speak Japanese very well, so he tries to find hints of where to find ninjas, and he looks at a sign and it says, hey, if you pee on this wall, I'm gonna cut your dick off. And he's like, if I catch people who pee here and cut off their dicks, I'm gonna get recognized by a ninja, because this little sign here probably means that is a ninja who wrote this.
What?
So he goes around and starts taking people who pee at that wall. And yeah, then he encounters by chance an actual ninja at some point, who is this weird old homeless person, apparently. This weird, fat, cross-eyed guy who is peddling his own breast milk to people.
Ew.
Yeah, this is where we go with this. It's like the nuttiest, craziest, dumb shit show, and it's out there. So, Ressentiment was weird as fuck, and also really ugly, and I didn't read that all the way through. I need to try it again. It's just, I don't even know how gross it gets, but it's pretty gross. And this is also pretty gross in parts. But like I said, it's also pretty funny. So, I don't know if I'll stick with this. It's just, right now, it's just morbid curiosity. You don't get such a show really on a regular basis. So like, I have to see this. And it's not pretty to look at. Like, it's a very, very dull color palette. Like, the animation is really, really bare bones. Like, it's not necessarily bad or anything. The characters are a model, and like, there's enough detail everywhere. But it's just like this. It looks like an early Xbox 360 PS3 game in terms of color palette, right?
Oh boy.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Like, everything is brown.
For sure.
Yeah.
Everything's brown and green and muted and
yes, and everything looks really grimy, and all the characters, if you look too close at them, look really grimy, and that's the case for this show as well. Like, it's not a pretty show.
It's not low poly, but
yeah, it is actually the anime version of low poly. I get a feel, but yeah, that's how it is, and I feel that has its charm too. Like, it's like I said, you don't really get a show where it's like, yeah, this kind of look actually fits what is going on with the characters and the story, because these are all kind of weird shitbags and losers, and they're gross, and yeah, so. And just, maybe I'll stick around, because it's just an unusual show that you don't get to witness very often. But for everyone who maybe looked at the title of this and thought, oh, this is about maybe ninja modern day, maybe it's just like Naruto, Sasuke. No. It's not that. No, it's not that. Definitely not. So just be prepared. If you want to take this ride, go for it. But just be aware that you're in for something very special. And yeah, we'll see if this turns into a review. I don't know yet. It's just a very weird show, guys. It's very weird.
Sounds like it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right. So I think we're done with the maybes. So let's move on over to the keepers. John, what is your first keeper? Could it be maybe a keeper that we share that is starting with spy? Could that be the case?
And possibly ending with family?
Yeah.
Family.
Familo.
Spy family.
Vin Diesel is watching this. It's like, he loves this show. I know. I've asked him.
That's a different family.
Yeah.
Family. I was going more for being a juggalo.
Oh, right. Oh no. My mind definitely didn't want to go. My mind definitely didn't want to go to juggalo. It never does. There are no juggalos in Spy Family so far, so I'm kind of glad.
Thankfully.
Yeah, but poor Yor gets shot in the butt.
I can't believe. Oh my god. That's in the first episode, and that's the punchline of the whole thing. God, Spy Family is great. Because it only takes itself absolutely seriously when it needs to. And we start off with this first episode, you're going on an assassination mission, getting shot in the butt, and then Lloyd just being Lloyd.
He thinks she's in a bad mood because he sent her on errands to get groceries and shit like that. But she's just in a lot of pain.
For being a super spy, Lloyd can't figure things out.
Yeah, he's very dense.
Oh my god.
When it comes to his make-believe wife. And yeah, what does he do, John? How does he try to fix this situation?
Tries to take her on a date. And
what activities does this date involve mostly?
Sitting.
Yes. I mean, it makes sense, right? If you think about it. And I never thought about this before, genuinely. I mean, I've been on dates, but it's like, yeah, a lot of these things that you might do on a date involve sitting, like going to the movie theater, maybe like after having a nice stroll in the park, like sitting out, sitting in a restaurant, and I don't know, watching some fireworks or whatever while sitting somewhere, like going to a clothing store and having your significant other maybe try on a couple of dresses. And that might press against the butt wound. Mm-hmm. So, so it works out as one might expect up to a certain point, anyway.
But then we get to see Anya and Frankie sneaking around and
they're having a good time.
and that's great. I mean, Lloyd figures them out like immediately, but it's still super funny.
See, that's where his skills actually work, but for some reason, the most glaring elephant woman in the room. Yeah.
He has no powers of deduction is the problem.
I guess not. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, he also didn't see that blowfish poisoning coming. He didn't smell it or anything. Like, I don't know if that actually smells, but it's like, yeah. And Yor didn't either. I mean, she's immune, so that's fine. And it actually solves the whole problem for a while anyway.
Temporarily.
Yes. It's, sometimes I wonder how Lloyd got into his position. That's all there is to. For Yor, you can kind of explain it away to an extent because she has lived a very, I don't know, special life with her brother and everything. So say, yeah, maybe she's not as world savvy and everything. I can see that making sense, but for Lloyd, dude, you went to rigorous spy training. There are certain things you should be able to guess. Just, if a person just moves a certain way, like she's probably not moving normally because she has like a butt wound, right?
Right.
He should be able to immediately spot that something physically is physically wrong with her. But for some reason, doesn't work. And I mean, it doesn't help that they're not actually married and they're not sharing a bed and everything. That helps the plot to actually happen in this, because otherwise he would immediately spot it, that she has a wound on her butt. But yeah, so it's fun times.
It's fine, don't worry about it.
If you can deal with this kind of nonsense and you don't think as hard about it as we just did, it's fine. It's fun times, and Frankie and Anya are having a great time, and I didn't know I needed that, but I definitely need more Bond with sunglasses in my life.
Yeah.
Amazing. Also, that OP and ED though, like
really, really good.
Strong contenders for best of the season in their respective categories. The OP especially has such a kick-ass song and so many moving parts. Like, it's an enthralling spectacle. I loved it. And that's definitely not skipping that OP for this season. Absolutely. We'll see where this goes. I think the second episode just dropped of the second season.
This morning.
Yeah, so I haven't watched that yet. But yeah, we'll see if a bit more plot happens in this. I hope, what was her face from the previous season? Not Twilight. That's Lloyd's name. What was her name?
Fiona?
Fiona, yeah. I hope Fiona returns. She was my favorite part about the previous season. And
she was
the previous
super
core.
funny.
Yeah, of the last core we talked about. And yeah, she was super funny, and I liked her dynamic with Lloyd and with Yor and everything, and with Anya. So I hope she makes a return soon. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. This first episode was very light. And I mean, most of the episodes in Spy Family so far have been very light on the plot. It's mostly like, hey, funny adventures in the daily life of this weird makeshift family that might eventually become a real family, or is already starting to become a real family. So I always said like, hey, I want a bit more plot in this, please. Maybe also I like the slice of life stuff, comedy stuff, but I also think the setup is interesting enough that we could move along the plot a bit quicker, which hasn't really happened much in the previous seasons. I feel like a bit here and there, mostly at the end of each respective core, I guess, but not as much. And I'm like, okay, yeah, there's world building and everything. That's cool and shit like that. So I hope we'll have a bit more plot this season. That would be great.
Yeah, I mean, we got time. The season just started. There's more episodes. There's the movie in December as well. So,
but I'm pretty sure the movie is not gonna like progress the actual plot, the story in any way. It's just probably gonna be a fun one-off thing. Probably super well animated though.
It's weird because I had heard both ways, and I was not certain.
Okay.
So if it was one or the other.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we'll see. I definitely watched that. I don't think it's in movie theaters over here, sadly, but yeah, definitely.
Well, like I said, the theatrical premiere isn't until December 22nd, so.
Yeah. Maybe it will still be announced. We'll see. But yeah, for anime showings over here, I mean, which are usually just one-offs. But yeah, so far, of course, Spy Family would be a keeper for us. We liked the previous two cores. Yeah, it's just fun time. It's light, fluffy, fun time. Everyone in the show is fun, and this is definitely the wind down anime of the season. Like Spy Family is perfect for this. If you had a stressful time at work or for any other reason, I mean, there are enough reasons these days. This is the show to watch in the evening to take your mind off these things, because Spy Family is just always reliable good times at the anime. So just throw that on the good old TV and have a grand old time. So this is what we gonna do. My next keeper is Captain Tsubasa Junior Youth Arc, which is the actual sequel to the show from 2018 by David Production. It's been 5 years. What the hell?
Has it?
Yes. It was one of the early shows that we reviewed, or I reviewed for our show. So yeah. That had like 2 seasons, 2 cores, I think 2 seasons. And now we get another one, and that is focusing on one of the things I was most interested in, the European tour and then the tournament in France. So a lot of international stars like that have been introduced at the tail end of the previous season will now get their time to shine. So it's cool to see all these different countries competing with each other. I always like that kind of thing in sports competition where it's like, hey, there's this really big international feel to it. That's why I like the World Cup and stuff like that. So it's like, hey, it's cool to see all these different nations come together and have a friendly competition, mostly friendly, usually.
I was about to say, hold on a second.
Not talking about the audience and stuff like that either. But you know, in anime, it's usually in sports anime is usually friendly. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Definitely, the studio switched from David Production to Studio Kai, so I don't know if this can capture what I loved about the previous adaptation of this, like of the 2008 adaptation, though this is treated like an actual sequel. Like they're continuing right where they left off. It's got the same drawing style and everything. I don't know how much of the staff changed. I don't think the director is the same. At least it doesn't feel like it. Like I'm missing some, but I could be wrong. But the previous director was the director of JoJo's season 4, I believe, of Diamond is Unbreakable. I think he didn't come back. So that might change because he has I felt like he had a very strong creative vision for the previous version of this, the previous season of this. So we'll see. We'll see how this turns out, but I'm on board either way because I wanted to see a modern adaptation of this particular arc for a while. So yeah, looking forward to some anime, soccer, football, whatever you might want to call it. And I'm definitely going to keep on watching this. And yeah. That's gonna be my sports anime for this season.
Cool.
Yeah, John, what is your next keeper?
I originally wasn't going to watch this, but then I found out that it's actually going to be a short watch, and that's Gundam Build Metaverse.
Ah, right. You were pretty down on the previous outings of the Gundam Build stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of whatever. And this is, this is definitely, more fan service. I looked at the screen and I saw the thing I know and I clapped. I clapped because I know the thing. And this time it's all about this kid Rio, and he's built his own mobile suit, or his own gunpla called the La Gundam, and the metaverse in this context is basically like this online Gundam service where you can do gunpla battle, where you can make friends, where you can just whip out your credit card while you're in the metaverse and buy more model kits.
Oh, that's problematic.
And like I said, this is a short watch. It's only going to be 3 episodes.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
That's why when I saw that it was only going to be that, I was like, sure, okay.
But it also
I can commit to 3.
But it also sounds like it's going more for the build fighters thing than the build divers thing, right? So that's more your speed?
A little bit, maybe. I mean, I guess Rio has been training under this girl who goes by the name Mask Lady, who's totally not the girl who works in the gunpla shop that he goes to. Don't worry about it. Except they find out at the tail end of the first episode, oh no, it actually is. Shock. It's goofy. It's dumb, but it's got the neat gunpla designs, and I know I'm gonna buy at least one more model kit. So this is just quick, easy breezy. It's silly. It's fine. It's probably something that they just wanted to throw out there in between series. So hey, it's fine. It's cool. It's neat. I like the designs, and it's very fast paced. We got to see the characters from the Build Divers in the first episode, and Rio was like, well, wait, this team is called Build Divers, and Mask Lady is all like, oh, well, some people out there, they just try to take the names of other popular teams. And then when Rio finds out, wait a minute, it was actually them, he's like all starstruck, and it's like, okay, that's kind of silly and cute. That's fine. All right.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so it's fun. Again, I clapped because I saw the thing I liked.
It's good. And it's going to give you a quick Gundam fix, like after the ending of Witch from Mercury and everything. So
yeah, for sure.
We'll see what comes next as
so that's it.
Big brand show. Yeah. All right. Have fun. My next keeper is Undead Unluck. And yeah, that's a David production show. The main character of this, Izumo, wants to kill herself. Because... yeah, that sounds more downbeat than it is. But yeah, everyone she touches is struck by a huge amount of bad luck and dies. That is the reason why she wants to off herself, because, she also killed her parents with this, sadly. But due to a twist of fate, she is saved by Undead, who seems to be virtually immortal and is on the search for someone who can finally end his ridiculously long life. A match made in heaven or hell. And yeah, this is a fun action comedy. It's a bit raunchy and quite violent, because while Undead, or Andy as Izumo starts to call him, can so far always resurrect himself, he will get decapitated, dismembered, burned alive, smashed, etc., regardless. But that also makes them quite a team when both of them have to fight a shadowy organization that is after Izumo's powers, because she can just focus her bad luck on Andy, and then all of the bad guys will be in the splash damage zone of that bad luck, and he will probably get out fine. So, at least soon in the first episode, a fucking meteor getting dropped on his head. And the bad guy. And he survives. The bad guy doesn't. Big surprise. But yeah, it's a cool mechanic. It's sympathetic characters. Aside from Andy being a bit of a perf in the beginning, a bunch of cool fights. And I think this might actually become a heartfelt little romantic comedy down the road. We'll see. So far, I like it quite. I like the vibe quite a lot. After Andy finds out that a kiss causes the biggest amount of bad luck, he is hellbent on taking it to the next level with Izumo, so getting biblical, which she, of course, absolutely is not into as of this moment. But as soon as she tells Andy that the amount of bad luck or unluck rises exponentially compared to how much she likes a person, Andy is hellbent on making her fall for him. So, yeah. Like I said, this has probably become like a, hey, these are actually gonna become this weird, happy couple who constantly, and one of them constantly kills the other one if they touch or whatever.
That's weird,
It's
man.
super weird, but it's also super fun, and it has some great fucking fight scenes. Like, David Production is really going for it. I don't know if it could be the Fire Force team. It seems like it. Like, the character designs look even pretty close in certain parts. And yeah, it's just as colorful, it's just as impactful, and got enough wacky humor in it. And the most fun part of this is obviously what ludicrous, random, yet somewhat plausible events the show can come up with that relate to Uzumo's unluck power. You know, a meteor dropping out of the sky, a truck ramming into someone out of nowhere, Andy running into a building that is suddenly or somehow scheduled for demolition.
God.
It's a hoot. And his power set is also really interesting. Like, he can use his blood to propel himself forward, like the main character from Fire Force who can fly by shooting fire out of his feet. His cut-off legs are a goddamn jetpack. And, you know, his severed body parts disappear after 30 seconds, and he can shoot them at people like bullets. And he has also a piece of shrapnel stuck in his forehead, and when he pulls that out, he remembers everything that he has learned in nearly 200 years that he has been alive, which gives him an insane power boost, but also can drive him insane or become too dangerous, something like that. So it's wild shit, and it's zany, and it's fun, and like I said, it's a bit raunchy, and these two are very cute together. And it's just a fun time. And yeah, I really, really like the first 2 episodes of this. And I'm definitely going to keep on watching. This is absolutely up my alley. And the OP is also really cool. And is hinting at some interesting background for Andy, at least. And we'll see what this world is all about with these people with special powers who are called negators, and the organization called Union, who is after the guys, and that they might or might not become an actual part of later down the road. At least that's what they're setting up right now. So yeah, enough interesting moving parts. And like I said, I like the basic setups and our main characters. They're really fun. And yeah, definitely recommend it, and I will keep watching this for sure.
Cool.
John, what is your next keeper?
My next keeper is not from this season.
Ha!
But I am starting it now.
Oh, all right. That counts, I guess.
I don't know. Maybe you heard of it. It's been around for a little while now. It's this thing called One Piece.
Oh my God, he did it. I warned you, John. Why didn't you heed my warning? I saw you have chosen the One Piece version.
Yes.
So, how far have you gotten so far?
As of this recording, I am on episode 16, which is almost the tail end of the fight with Captain Kuro in Syrup Village.
That's really good. That's where the show really starts picking up, like the Usopp storyline, and after it gets only better after this.
Yeah, man. I feel bad for Usopp, and I don't at the same time, because he kind of did it to himself with, crying wolf. Yeah, and obviously. Then when the pirates actually came home to roost, oh boy, did you really think they'd believe you right away, my guy?
Did they? I don't know if that was already covered as far as you got. Did they already cover why he did this? Like, why he acted that way?
No.
Oh, okay, then, yeah. Each of the characters, even if it seems like they behave shitty in a way, you will get a reason, and usually that reason breaks your heart. So prepare yourself.
Man, when they were fighting the pirates in Orange Town, man, and the dog, in the pet shop. Yeah.
There's some really cool stuff with it. And, I mean, it's all the balance in this when it comes to really well done, seriously dramatic and tragic moments mixed with the comedy of One Piece, I think is one of the all-time great mixtures in anime when it comes to entertainment, because you get this and then you get Buggy. I think the one of the funniest things is still to me the scene where Buggy tries to reattach him, stitch himself together, and then there's some very important parts missing.
And Nami's got them all tied
Yes.
down.
It's
super
great.
good.
It's great stuff. And I mean, in terms of dramatic stuff and in terms of what the soundtrack is doing, I think one of the early best moments is when the scene where Shanks protects Luffy from the Sea King. Such a really good moment, like in terms of tenseness and everything, and the way the soundtrack hits at that specific moment. Like Kohei Tanaka's soundtrack is just really good.
Tanaka is putting in the work every moment.
Yeah, it is one of his most prestigious, popular soundtracks for a reason, and well-known ones. And yeah, so I'm glad that you picked up. What did you like most about it so far? Like, what is the thing that is like, oh, I get why people like this?
I guess just it's hard to really pin it down because there's this grand scale to it. Grand scale, grand line. But just the way it starts off very unassuming. But you know, when I originally started watching it, I don't think I actually got past the episodes of Romance Dawn. So this time I was like, I want to give it a serious try. And then I watched a little bit of it with some people I worked with. I think it might have been part of the Arlong Park arc.
That is one of the best ones.
Which is still a little ways from where I am now. But what I saw there, I was like, even back then, I sort of felt myself being like, am I actually starting to get interested in this? But you know, then I was like, but I haven't watched all of it. I'd have to start over from the beginning, and I kept putting it off, and I kept putting it off, and I was just like, no,
it's a daunting task.
We're just gonna do it, and I'm going to see how far I get. It's right now. Last episode count I saw was 1,078.
Well, if you go with the normal episodes, but you know, One Piece is compressing that a lot. So
the nice thing about the One Piece episodes that I have acquired and started watching, they actually show in the name what episodes it covers, so that way I can sort of map it out directly to where the show proper is.
Yeah, and I'm really interested to see how fast you actually will be able to catch up, if you catch up fully. But you know, how quickly you go through the main storylines. I mean, you got a lot of stuff ahead of you, but I'm really interested to see how quickly. And I plan to maybe also return the show with the One Piece version, so maybe I'll catch up to you. Who knows? We'll see.
I mean, I feel like today I could probably finish Syrup Village because there's just like one episode left, and then the one episode that's Gaimon, and then next week I'll start on Barati, and then maybe I'll get into Arlong Park.
Yeah, and then you're almost at Loketown, and then the Grand Line stuff hits. So yeah, it's like I assume if the pacing is like improved, it's gonna be a really quick watch, especially once you have already hit the threshold, because you know, this is where it really started, like with Usopp's arc, because that's when the fights became really cool, and that's when the background stories of the characters became really cool. I mean, I already liked Zoro's one, but that was a very small arc, like the Captain Morgan thing and everything, and it wasn't directly necessarily related to him. And there's more Zoro coming down the road, but not enough in my opinion. But yeah, so but Usopp was the first one who was like, oh yeah, I get this. And then Sanji hit, and then Nami hit, and I was like, Jesus Christ, the show is so good. So you're already in it. I'm sorry. We'll see if you can get out of it at some point. I mean, there are, of course, some weaker arcs in this, but not for a while now, I think. Like, you got a lot of certified bangers on the horizon. There are some smaller ones sprinkled in between, like Loketown is probably just only 1 or 2 episodes in the One Piece version, if that. And
it looks like 3.
Yeah, so that's not long. And you have definitely sort of smaller ones. The next bigger one is probably all the stuff that leads up to Arabasta. And then Skypiea comes pretty soon after that, I think. There's something in between. I think it was the Davy Beck fight. Oh, of course, Drum Island, where we meet Chopper and everything. So you're gonna get to know a lot of cool characters and a lot of interesting stories, a lot of cool heart-wrenching moments and cool battles. So yeah, I'm interested to hear your constant thoughts of it about it, because before we can review this, it's gonna be a while. So please feed me the information as you progress.
Yeah, it's oh man, it is going to be a minute.
I mean, we can talk about it, the quick and the dead, right? That is something where it's like, oh yeah, right. We can just go through it. Hey, how far are you now, and what is your current favorites arc or something like that? I feel that is something that makes sense because it's gonna be a long-term watch for you.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I plan on trying to watch at least maybe 2 episodes of One Piece a day, because apparently where it is right now, it's about 383 episodes. Like, it's not, One Piece is not current with One Piece, but once I get current with Pace, then I could probably jump into Piece.
yeah, probably. I mean,
it's not. It doesn't seem like it's super far behind me by like 100-ish episodes.
They're or at least already in the current arc, but that arc has been going for a long time already. So and
Yeah.
I've let the episodes of that pile up too, because I want to like binge them. That's one of the few anime where I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, because the way the pacing works right now, it's kind of detrimental to the show sometimes if you watch it on a weekly basis, because then not a lot is happening in each episode, aside from maybe a cool fight scene and stuff like that. But there are so many different battles happening at the same time that you're not progressing fast enough to all of them, or at a steady pace if you watch it on a weekly basis. So it makes more sense to let them pile up for me anyway. And maybe I'll wait until this arc is finished, or I'm just gonna do a catch up in between. I don't know. But yeah, so I don't know. It might turn out, depending on how much longer this arc is gonna go, we're gonna finish this together at the same time. Who knows?
Oh boy,
we'll see. But first, I don't want to pressure you or anything. And I mean, your 2 episodes a day goal is very commendable, but also don't force yourself. I'd rather you have a good time, and if one day you don't feel like it, don't watch it, and just wait when you're in the mood for it again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. My original plan was, there's a new Uma Musume. Maybe I'll go back and watch the first couple seasons and the special of that. And then I was like, no, I need to figure out the One Piece situation.
The One Piece situation, yeah. Oh my God, we're in it, all of us, and we can't stop, won't stop. But yeah, really happy that you picked that up. I want to again to convey to our listenership, I did not put John up to this. It was his own decision. I did not pester him. I did not pressure him. I did not blackmail him. So I'm glad he took that step himself. I also, like I said, feel sorry for him, but it's a good sorry. I'm glad that he's in this boat with me now, and I hope we eventually will be on the same set. That maybe if the series ever ends, we will have like our biggest review if our little podcast then still exists. I don't know if Oda will outlast us. There is a chance of that.
Yeah.
But honestly, Oda, please finish your fucking manga. I'm so worried. Just in general. Just in general. I'm just worried. I'm just worried when it comes to stuff. It sounds always shitty when you say like, oh, please finish your manga before you die, because what the hell? Like, that's not the important part here. Like, like, please just survive, but also please finish your manga, because it has been your lifeblood for forever, like your passion, your profession, and you're still having a good time. And I want this to be concluded according to your terms and your vision. So please just go with it. Tell the story that you have to tell as long as you need to, but also maybe just don't try to make this an unlimited thing. But also, it's your story. Whatever, do whatever the fuck you want. Just take us along on the ride. We're gonna have a good time anyway. So if you would want to do 1,000 more, that's your thing. I'm just gonna die watching One Piece. That's fine with me. On my deathbed, to the Grand Line, everyone.
Oh God.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, like I said, I'm really happy. John, if I knew that you actually were very serious about continuing this, I would have made this our last keeper, but we have one more to talk about.
That's fine. We still have another, yeah.
Yeah. So, our last keeper for this sneak peek, and our last thing for this episode, I guess, is Frieren. What's the full title?
Beyond Journey's End.
Beyond Journey's End. Yes. John, why is that its name? What is it about?
It's about this elf girl named Frieren who went on an adventure with this group of fighters who went to defeat the evil Dark King, Dark Lord, however you want to refer to it. And this is after that long and arduous journey, and they have all bid their farewells to one another. And now Frieren has gone on her own adventure. But being that she is an elf, she has a much longer and stretched out lifespan. Mm-hmm. So the 10 years they spent on their adventure was just like, oh, that was nothing to her. That was that was a moment. It was a drop in the bucket. So when she disappears for 50 years and comes back, and the hero of their party, Himmel, is just old and gray and just a tired old man. Oof, well, that's how it is for us humans, lady.
Yeah. And initially she seems like very, I don't know, not blasé about it, but it's like
just very unbothered, very nonplussed.
Yeah, very nonplussed, very. She treats it very matter of factly. So it's like, yeah, that's just how humans are. But it only lasts until Himmel is actually put into the ground. And then actually she's filled with regret because she is like, why didn't I spend more time with him? I have so much time. And the time of humans on this earth is so little, and we actually had such a great time on this journey thinking about it. So why didn't I spend some time of my incredible long lifespan with that person and try to get to know it better, like one of my only friends in this world? And it's just you see that in this moment, in this small moment, it's really like it's tearing her apart. And it's such a good fucking moment, and the that soundtrack, John, it's like
Evan Call was hitting real hard.
God damn. It's like when all those strings they hit. Just the whole setup for this with the meteor shower and everything, and her other friends being there, and yeah, it was really nice and really melancholic, which is like the base tone of the show. Like it feels cozy and it's funny and it's cute, but it also has this very melancholic undertone to it, where it's like, yeah, all of these people she is meeting, they won't be around as long as she will. And she's like the keeper of her memories, basically. And this is also what the show is about a lot. Like memories, making memories, like keeping memories around, like protecting memories of people who are not here anymore and trying to convey them to the next generation and keep them alive that way, like keeping their soul, their spirit alive. And yeah, it's really well done, and it's also pretty as all hell.
Yeah, Madhouse is firing on all cylinders.
Is this a Madhouse show?
It is.
What happened? Is this a One Punch Man situation? I haven't seen a Madhouse show look that good in ages. What's going on?
I don't know, but they came out swinging on this one.
Absolutely crazy. Like, it's not like that it's just a show with, like, pretty character models. It is. With pretty environments. It is. But it also has some really kick-ass action scenes. Like, not long ones. Even the big battle in the most recent episode between a boy and a dragon is not that long, but it looks stunning. It's a really good-looking show. And, yeah, I loved it. I so far. I mean, the weird part is we could already do. We won't, but we could already do a solid mini review on this because they for some reason released like the first 4 episodes at once.
Yeah. So I guess it's gonna run 28 episodes, which is a strange number.
Yeah, that is.
But they were just like, here, just have 4 all at once. And it's like, oh, thank you. Now and after I watched all 4 in one sitting, I was like, all right, I'm in.
Honestly, if you know that you need that time to tell a certain story, just do it that way. That's totally cool. Like if it doesn't, like don't adhere to the standard season format and just try to do like, hey, no, we're gonna just do a bunch of 4 episodes. I don't know if they all aired on the same day.
I think they did.
So yeah, that's cool. Like make it special, and then you go from there, and then you have your standard format. Really cool idea, and it works because the first 4 episodes really introduce a lot of the important setup things for this, like knowing about Frieren and her companions, knowing about their journey and how important it was to all of them, and her, like, understanding her character, that she is usually this very, not emotionless, but cold. Haha, her name is Frieren. Frieren. The names are very on the nose in this show. Like,
yeah, I started to look them up when they were saying. I was like, wait a minute. I knew Eisen was a German word, but I was like, wait, Himmel, Heiter.
Yeah, they're all like, it's just what the character's main characteristics or something that relates to them. And Himmel is
along those lines, yeah.
Himmel is especially funny because I immediately was like, wait, that's the only one that doesn't feel like, I don't know, are they talking about his looks or because he's heavenly in terms of because he's such a good guy? The mission eventually, it's not taking too much away, but it becomes her trying to seek out a version of heaven in this and talk to the soul of her previous comrade who is called Himmel, which also means heaven. And like, okay, this is kind of silly, but it's also fun. Every character, like, there's a strong warrior, and his name is Stark, which means strong in German. So you get the idea. I guess Fern, like the adopted daughter, she kind of gets, and Apprentice, which is Heiter's also apprentice kind of, doesn't make much sense yet because that would be far, like translated to English. But also maybe I'm missing something. Maybe it's about the journey, or I don't know. We'll see. Still not getting that one.
Yeah, I mean, I that will probably become apparent with time. I gotta imagine.
Yeah. But maybe for them to become a real family something, they have to go far, and that's why her name is Fern. Who knows? We'll see. It's probably gonna be something where we smack our foreheads once that is actually made abundantly clear, like what that actually relates to. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. But aside from that, the show is really putting the work in to give you like cool, subtle character development moments. And sprinkled in between the current journey are like all the memories that Frieren has of her previous journey with her comrades, with her previous companions. Like visiting places that they've been before. Like basically at some point they're going to start taking the same journey again, just for a different reason and with different companions now. But every time she comes to a new place, she's like, oh, I remember doing this and that with those guys here. So at the same time, we have this new journey where we learn about the new characters, but we also learn about her previous one and what she experienced there and how that relates to her character growth and everything. And that's a really cool method, like having like these 2 parallel journeys and stories working concurrently. So really cool format. I like that about the show as well, and everything else. And yeah, it's a really good fantasy show, and it's not an isekai. Guys, come on.
No way,
just it's enough reason to watch this. Just push this. I mean, this is definitely one of the shows this season. Like, it's not like this is like a secret gem or anything, or a dark horse. Everyone was kind of promoting this and looking forward to this. I feel like it was making its round on this Twitter sphere and everything. So yeah, I feel like a lot of people are watching this, and it's going to be popular for a reason. And yeah, it's just a really sweet story and a lot of cool stuff to see, fun characters, and I'm really looking forward to going on that journey with these characters. It seems like you feel the same, John.
Oh yeah, for sure. I in particular love the dynamic between Fern and Frieren.
Yes.
That Fern kind of has to rein Frieren in a bit.
Oh, absolutely.
Has to wake her up in the morning because she sleeps so late. It's so good.
It makes absolute sense, right? The way Frieren behaves, in certain aspects, it comes across as dickish in certain parts where it's like, why are you so matter-of-factly? Why are you so treating this so weirdly and being like so... treating is not as important as other characters treat it, because she has so much fucking time on her hand. Starting at actually going places. She's like we spent just mere 10 years on this journey. She's the only one who says that, right? For everyone, it's like, Jesus Christ, this was just a long time. For every human, it would be, for every normal human being. Even Eisen the dwarf says that it was a long journey. But she's like, yeah, but that's barely 2/300 or something, like...
Yeah, I forget what fraction she says, but it's like...
super small of my entire lifespan. It's blink of a moment for me. And just going somewhere, she is used to traveling long distances by foot because she has all the time in the world. She doesn't even need to look for a different method of transportation or whatever, because she's like, yeah, I can just go there, because it's not like I'm losing much time just traveling all around the world. And that's why she's treated differently. And what you said, that she doesn't get out early in the morning, she doesn't have to. She is not wasting any time, really. And, you know, she's focused on other things. She can focus on really small... She can just go on these wild collecting sprees for magic and stuff like that, because she just has the time to do it. And that's why she treats time very differently than other people. It's not as much of a valuable commodity than to other people, to her. So... of course, Fern, who is a normal human, completely clashes with that, because every time Frieren is like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna look for this magic again, and Fern's like, God damn it, can we just move on? You're not taking me into consideration. I need to learn magic, and we need to move forward. I need to get better, and you're just wasting your time on this. And Frieren, of course, doesn't feel like it's wasted time, because she has so much. But she also needs to learn to take other people's lifespan and feelings into consideration, and she's not that adept to that yet. So that's her journey. And yeah, it's just cool. It's just a really cool setup to have this character out of place and time compared to the other characters, and just have her having to learn a completely different view of the world through spending time with these characters who just approach time differently. I love it. I think it's great. And yeah, definitely watch this.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it. It's definitely the top keeper probably this season.
Big agree.
I guess that's it for a sneak peek already. I mean, there are a couple of shows that we haven't tackled here really. I mean, there is the anime adaptation of Pluto is coming, which I've been looking forward to for ages. And judging from the trailers, there is some money put into this. I don't know how much Netflix provided themselves, but this is a big budget adaptation, and it looks really good. And it hasn't aired yet, but it's gonna come up. So I'm definitely gonna watch that from beginning to end and review that. But you know, first episode hasn't aired at this point, so gonna wait for that. Same for Attack on Titan, which will apparently end in 20 days. Finally, maybe.
No way, dude.
Can you believe it, John? This is actually gonna happen.
It was a long journey.
Yeah. So, I'm really anxious, but also really hyped. I hope it will finish strong. The previous special movie, OVA, whatever you want to call it, was really good. And we haven't talked about that yet, because we wanted to save that review for when the big finale had aired. Or has aired. So let's hope this is actually it, and we can give you our thoughts on it next season, probably as a season opener or ender, because it's a big one. And either way, like, even if it finishes in a bad way, it's gonna be just a big review, because then we have to talk why it didn't deliver. But if it goes the same route that the previous special did, then it's probably hopefully gonna finish strong. And yeah, definitely looking forward to that.
I mean, if friends of ours were looking forward to, I guess, a certain bit of dialogue. So we'll see what happens with that. I have no idea. So
the problematic one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they will tell us if they change something, what they actually changed, and if not, we'll probably recognize it ourselves. So we'll see. Yeah, don't disappoint me, Sayama. But yeah. With that, we're already done for this episode, I guess. The next one will probably be a somewhat normal format, but without best of the season, or we'll sprinkle in something special. We'll see. We haven't decided yet. Either way, next season will be packed with reviews, probably. So we will eventually return in full force. Until then, see you next time.
Take care, everybody.
And that is a wrap on the 149th episode of Anime Brain Freeze. All the music in this podcast is from the Double Dragon Neon soundtrack by the amazing Jack Kaufman. Please go to virt.bandcamp.com and check out his awesome work. Our show is available on most of the popular podcast services, but it's always worth visiting animebrainfreeze.com for our review index and more. Leave us comments and questions on YouTube, follow us on Twitter at AnyBrainFreeze, or send an email to animebrainfreeze@gmail.com. We would love to read your feedback. Thanks for tuning in, we hope you had a good time, and please join us again on our next episode. Macht's gut!
See you later, everybody.
Next time on Anime Brain Freeze.
A group of monstrous detectives
deal with a plethora of head scratchers.